Today, I'm going to tell you about the tragedy that is Paper Mario Color Splash. An awfully long time ago, in a strange, far-off land, a bustling community thrived. It was a community where everyone was happy because they had two amazing games, and this one that was just okay. But one day, a tragedy befell this happy community. A great cataclysm struck the land. Darkness filled the skies. The earth roared and shook, and Paper Mario Sticker Star was released onto the world. It was everything the previous games were not, aka it was dog, and it fractured the once happy community in two. Many moons rose and set. Stories of the once great games passed into the pages of fairy tales. But years later, hope in the community was renewed, with a trailer for a new Paper Mario game, Paper Mario Color Splash. The community was hopeful this new game could repair the damage done by Sticker Star and bring the franchise back to its former glory. Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. This, of course, did not happen. Paper Mario Color Splash is probably the most hated game in the Paper Mario franchise. After the reveal trailer was shown in 2016, there was a petition created on change.org to get the game cancelled. Unfortunately, it wasn't, but this just shows you how much hatred there was surrounding the game at the time. A hatred that has continued on to this very day. You may ask, dear viewer, why exactly is this game so hated? Well, I think I've been able to boil it down to three main reasons. Battles take too long, a lack of unique characters, and no XP system. And now that we have our reasons, I wanted to put them to the test and find out once and for all if all the Color Splash hate is justified, or if the community should just get over 1,000 Year Door. The first complaint we're going to take a look at is the battles are too long. To test this, I timed 10 battles in Paper Mario 64, 1,000 Year Door, Sticker Star, and Color Splash, to see which game took the longest. I excluded Super Paper Mario and Origami King because Super doesn't have a battle system as it isn't a turn-based RPG, and Origami King was dependent on how fast you could solve the puzzle. So it was difficult to get an accurate time. My first rule was the enemies I faced had to be Goombas, and there had to be 2 of them, just to keep things consistent. My second was the battles had to occur at the beginning of the game. I didn't want powerful moves that could clear the screen of enemies influencing the times. So let's get into it. Coming in first place with the fastest battle time in any Paper Mario game, and the only thing it's ever done right in its life, Paper Mario Sticker Star. Sticker Star has an average battle time of 24.8 seconds. And if you're as shocked as I am, I think I can explain why. Sticker Star essentially allows you to kill 2 Goombas with one basic move, while 64 and 1,000 Year Door need 2 rotations, if you're not using FP or special moves. Which, my data seems to back up, because coming in second and third respectively are Paper Mario 64 and 1,000 Year Door, with average times of 27.5 seconds and 28.9 seconds. So, you know what that means. Coming in last place with an average time of 38.1 seconds, Paper Mario Color Splash. 38.1 seconds is almost 10 seconds longer than the next closest game, 1,000 Year Door. And in a series that revolves around constantly battling enemies, that 10 seconds adds up real fast. And if you're wondering why it's so much slower than the previous games, all you have to do is play the game and find out for yourself. Because when you play the game, it becomes obvious just how many extra inputs you have to do in Color Splash just to perform a basic attack. For example, to perform a basic jump in Color Splash, you have to do 6 separate inputs. You need to place a card, then tap Ready Card, then tap the card to paint it, then select Done Painting, then flick the cards, then finally press A to perform the action command. Compare this to the previous games, where you have to press A to choose jump, then A again to pick which kind of jump, then A a third time to perform the action command. It's literally half the inputs to perform the same basic attack. and it's the same 3 inputs, which means you can do them quickly in succession. Whereas Color Splash has you doing multiple different inputs like tapping, holding, and flicking, which really slows down your ability to attack quickly, thus leading to longer battle times. So yeah, this complaint is definitely valid. So the next complaint we'll examine is the lack of unique characters. And what is a unique character, you may ask? Well, I define it as any character that has a name or has a distinct look that separates it from a normal Mario enemy. So the character on the left, I would consider a unique character. She has a real name and she has a distinct look. While the character on the right, I wouldn't. He looks identical to a regular Toad and his name is Traveling Toad. That isn't a name, it's an adjective. Remember, they don't need to have both to be considered a character, just a name or a distinct look. So, now that we have that out of the way, let's go through each game in the series and see which one has the least unique characters. So, the original Paper Mario has 80 total characters, with the only non-unique character being the Fearsome Five, because they don't individually have names, and they just look like regular Yoshis. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door comes in with 118 characters, with the Creepy Castle Boo being the only one that's not unique. Super Paper Mario takes the top spot with 130 total characters, with Private Koopa being the only non-unique character. Okay, get ready because this is where it starts getting rough. Sticker Star has a total of 14 characters. Yes, 14.
Oh my god!
With the non-unique characters being Sling-a-Thing Toad, Mansion Steward, Toad, yep, just basic ass Toad, Traveling Toad, and Wiggler. And finally, we've come to Paper Mario Color Splash. Color Splash has 64 total characters. And for this, I'll be naming the characters that are unique instead of the ones that aren't, because out of 64 total characters, only 18 of them are unique. So we have Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Princess Peach, Huey, Princess, Ringer, Six Koopa Kids, Birdo, and these last 4, which are barely, and I mean barely, considered characters under my rules. They are Perp, Blue, Yellow, and Red. They're Toads that are named after what color they are.
Why? Why? Why?
Shigeru Miyamoto insisted this game only use characters from previous Mario games, with former Nintendo CEO Satoru Iwata saying this development philosophy was to limit options to help bring out more creativity. This must have been what he was referring to. Honestly, this game is chock full of characters like this. Characters that aren't really characters. Like Barista Toad, Peddler Toad, Toadmaster General, Know-It-All Toad, Middle Management Toad, Colonoscopy Toad. They are all just Toads. I can see why people have an issue with the characters in this game because they are such a far cry from characters like these. So I would definitely call this complaint valid. Now it's time for our final complaint. A lack of leveling up, aka no experience system. Traditionally in RPGs, once you've beaten an enemy in battle, you'll gain experience points, which usually allows you to level up your character, making them stronger or upgrade a combat ability in some way. This incentivizes the player to actually engage in these battles, as the player gets something in return for their time investment. The original Paper Mario and Thousand Year Door worked this way. Once you accumulated 100 star points, you could choose to upgrade HP, flower points, or badge points. And as simple as the system was, it added strategic depth to the game and once again gave you a reason to actually battle enemies. Compare this now to Color Splash, which has no experience points to speak of except for upgrading your paint hammer. When you've defeated an enemy in Color Splash, they will drop some of these paint hammers. Collect enough of them and your paint capacity of your hammer goes up. The problem is that upgrading your paint capacity is completely useless. Paint refills are so abundant in this game that you almost never run out. You could probably play the entire game with the default paint capacity and you wouldn't even notice a difference. And since it's the only thing you get from battling enemies, it makes battling basic enemies completely pointless. It's actually worse than pointless, it's a net negative. Because you have to waste cards that you could use in battles that actually matter, like bosses or mandatory fights. This leads the player to avoiding battles because not only does it waste time, but it wastes your resources as well. And honestly, I think a waste of time perfectly sums up this game. Because that's exactly what it is, a waste of time. I don't usually say this in my videos, but for this one, I think the hate is justified. From the long drawn out battles to the lack of unique characters to the non-existent XP system. This game just isn't very good. But hey, it was runner-up to Just Dance in the 2017 Kids' Choice Awards, so what do I know?